Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Garden Dice, I believe, was probably a Kickstarter game. It kind of looks like a Kickstarter game. Now, my version comes with the gnome variant, which I think does add something to the game. Let's talk about this game really fast. So this is a dice game where you're rolling the dice. You're not really manipulating them too much, but the dice will have different uses. So you may have seeds that are worth 5. You can only buy those with 5 pips. So it's because you don't manipulate the dice as much, you can get screwed with the dice rolling, but over the life of the game, it should even itself out. But if it doesn't, you can get hosed with the dice. Now, if that starts to happen, you need to quickly bring those critters out on the board and start using those critters to get the other one. And that's really how you're going to save yourself from that. So if you find yourself falling behind, you need to get those critters out and start stealing those seeds. Now, if everybody starts doing that, the game could get rather long. But hopefully, I don't think that would be a viable strategy for everybody at the table. I think at most 1, maybe 2 people would start doing that. Now, Garden Dice is an interesting tile placement game that utilizes dice. I found this to be I was going to say excellent, but probably a good to very good family light dice game that does play differently. We really enjoyed this. We ended up playing it a couple times in consecutive days. We liked it so much, which is kind of rare for us. It was just easy to play, easy to understand, easy to jump into. The score was always kind of close, and it's kind of the level of game with this group that we were looking for. Be warned, there is luck in the game. There is luck in it. I mean, the dice roll is going to play. You're going to need something and get screwed. You're just going to have to kind of punt and work around it. I do like the gnome variant. The gnome variant adds some rules to the game where you can manipulate more pips on the board, which was interesting. And I recommend playing with that because now you have another choice between the gnome and the sundial. And I'll explain this in the flow of the game, but that extra layer of choice was warranted and nice, I thought. So I would almost make that a staple into the game. And being able to manipulate the dice in a dice game is super handy and nice, and it just brings so much out into a game. The components are thick and nice. I wish there were more dice in the box. I mean, it wasted so much time passing that one set of 4 dice around. So I think I'm going to buy or add 3 more sets of dice to this so we can play with a full complement. Garden Dice gives you interesting decisions in a small package. And gives enough luck that I think you could play this with nearly anyone. And I think that you're really going to enjoy this game, especially for families. The garden theme is going to be more attractive to some people than others. There is some take that in the game with the critters, and you're going to have to be okay with that. You could easily play without them if you wanted a more strategic game. We don't utilize them all that much. In the last game, I ended up winning, and I had the critters out, I only used it once. I didn't find it all that useful because you don't want to get stuck with a bunch of seeds. I think it would have been very overpowered or more powerful to have those critters take the veggies and then you get to keep the veggie for scoring, but that might have been too powerful. Otherwise, a fine game that I think most people are going to enjoy. Let's check out the components for Garden Dice here. And you're going to get a very, very good looking box. And my particular version comes with the gnome expansion inside. So let's open this up and see what you get. The box is normal size. It's a very thick box. It's very well done. You're going to get an instruction manual. It doesn't fold out like some. It's binded and comes through very well. You're going to get a little one sheet about the gnome. I'm going to get this in a couple different languages. You are going to get a board that it's very colorful and I like it. It's very easy to use, even though really it's just a spreadsheet with some stars down here. But they put the picket fences around the die and they made it look really good. And this is a scoring track that's around it. Each player will get a number of pieces that will be identical. You will get the sun, a scarecrow, which is double-sided to make a sundial. You get a gnome, and that's when he's not used, and a bird that's also a rabbit. And you get a number of bugs. And what you're going to notice is that not only are they different colors, but everybody has a different bug. So this is a bumblebee, the red is a ladybug. You're going to get some wooden dice. Real nice wooden dice. You get a couple rocks that are only used in the 2-player variant. You're going to get these real hard player tiles. Very nice. With all the information you really need on it. Double-sided to show you this is how the game is played. On the other side is what each tile does with how you score at the end. And there's one for each player. So this is extremely nice. Okay? And then you get a number of tiles. And these tiles are all double-sided. They'll have the kind of vegetable on it and the victory points. You can see the little vines coming out of it. That's how they chain. And then the seeds are the same victory point, the color, and kind of how it's watered. And you're going to get a number of these in different types. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're very nice and very thick. The components in this game are top notch. I have no problems with the components whatsoever. I don't know that this was a Kickstarter, but I'm led to believe that it is due to the very good quality of the game for what it is. And that's the components A+ for Garden Dice. The rules for Garden Dice are fairly simple and the player aid is brilliant. It really tells you everything you need to know. You can really learn the game. The player aid is double-sided, real hard cardboard. And really, that's what you need to do. If you ever played any games like this at all, then all you need is the player aid. Because really, what can you do with the dice? The rulebook will add a rule here or there that's not on the player aid. I feel like just a little bit bigger of a player aid. They could have included all of the rules, and you really wouldn't need the rulebook. The rulebook is nice for the first time you're playing, but for the other times, it'd be so much more helpful. The rules are great. I didn't have any problem, which is rare for what I believe is a Kickstarter. Excellent job, and Garden Dice Rulebook is an A+. Okay, how to play. I'm going to kind of show you the player aid because I think it's really good. So I'm going to play along with it to show you. So on your turn, you're going to roll your 4 dice. Okay. And if they're all the same, you can re-roll them. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck. So there's not a lot of mitigating going on here. And you can spin your dice, perform actions, and then you pass the dice to the left. Now, I highly recommend with games like this to get some more dice. So each player can have their own. I don't like passing dice. So here's what you can do. You can buy a seed tile. And each one of these tiles will have a seed on it. Oh, sorry, this one. So if I wanted to buy the 1, I would need at least a 1. If I wanted to buy the 5 tile, I would need at least a 5. So I couldn't buy the seed of 5 with a 1. That's how that works. Then you can place a tile, and you need 2 dice to do this. And you'll look, it's 1 through 6 up here and 1 through 6 on here. So if I wanted to place this with a 5 here and a 5 here, and I had previously purchased this, I could put this out on the 2x. On these 2x's just means anything here that scores will be doubled. And then this one would be a 4 and a 1 if I wanted to use both my dice that way. And I'd place this seed out. And that's how you do that. Then you can water a seed. In order to water a seed, pretending like I same die, you have to use a number of pips equal to or above it. So I could water this 5 and flip this over to make a vegetable. But I couldn't use this 1 to water the 5, okay? Or the 4 for that matter. So I would use this 5 to water this. and maybe this 1 to water this. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Now, the interesting part of this game is that you're going to be putting these little chits on. So let's say there's a red one there, and this one right here has a yellow marker on it. You can do what's called chaining. Okay, so it doesn't matter who owns it. So let's say I rolled a 4 and I want to water this yellow. So I would take this, I would flip it over, and now anything orthogonal to it that's less than it, not equal to it, less than it, would also be flipped, even if it's somebody else's. So you're going to be helping each other inadvertently, advertently, and this would happen. So let's say the 5. Let me give you a different example. This is kind of the power of the chaining. So let's say you played this 5 here and you want to water this. Great. Then you'd water the 3 because it's less than, it's orthogonal. And now the 1 is less than the 3. So it would also be watered. So this chain can be huge. Now, to flip the kind of second chain here, off this one has to be less than this one, not just less than the first one. And chains can be stopped if they're not. So that's kind of how watering works. Now, harvesting a veggie works exactly the same way. That just shows you the chaining and everything, except you're going to take these off the board and you're going to score these. Okay. So watering, you just flip them. Everything works the same. Harvesting, I'm playing the die the exact same way. All the chaining rules apply, except you take this off. Yellow would score for this one, and then the red one would also get this one. So those work exactly the same. You can also flip a special tile. Now, these tiles can be placed out exactly like the seeds. So when you're placing a seed, you can also place one of these. Now, they're going to come out on the board like a bird, and you can play a 6, flip it over to a rabbit. It's the same thing with a sundial. It's going to come out as a sundial, just like you would place a seed. The 2 dice matching up on the grid. But if you play a 6, you can flip it over to a scarecrow. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, the bird can move around. And you're going to play any dice. So if I played a 4 and the bird was here, I can move 1, 2, 3. And let's say this was here. Let's say I'm red and this seed is here. And I'm here. I could play a 4, move 1, 2, 3. And then his seed would be gone. He would eat the seed. Now, rabbits do the opposite. They eat vegetables, but move in the same way. So birds for seeds, rabbits for veggies. When a critter eats a tile, you remove it and returns disc to the owner, and you discard the tile and place a disc on your critter. So your critter would have one of these guys on it. Now you'd have to eat up another one of these bugs. And mind you, you only have so many of them in the game. So you want to be careful about how many you eat, because you'll run out of little critters quickly. If you spend a die of equal or higher value to claim the tile as a bot seed. So if I want to eat a vegetable and I could get rid of, say, a 4 to move him, and this is a 5, I spent a 5 dice, I could take this back as a seed in my hand. Okay, I don't score the veggie, let's get the seed back in my hand. And then for any 2 dice and a 6, I can remove a critter from the board. But what you're looking at is the coordinates. So a 4 and a 5, which is the coordinates that he's on, and then a 6 on top of it. And those are the options that you can do. So I showed you how that works. The sundial, for every turn that the owner has up to 2 imaginary pips to add or subtract from coordinate creating die. So anytime you're using the die for the coordinates, you can add or subtract from that. Now for the scarecrow, he's going to protect your seeds in the 8 spaces around him. So if he's here, all 8 spaces will be protected from birds. And then if you get a veggie from a spot next to him, you get 3 additional victory points. And the sun is just a use once. You can discard to convert 1 die to the result of your choice, or re-roll all 4 of yours. Now at the end of the game, you're going to score the victory points on your vegetables, and you'll do a little set collecting. So there's 5 different vegetables. If you have a complete set of all 5, you get 15 victory points. And now you can do multiple sets, but good luck with that. And then you can use the same tiles again, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, and 5 for 10, 15, and 20 points. And if you haven't used your sun, it's worth 5 victory points at the end of the game. And that's how you play garden dice. You're just going to roll these dice, and you're going to be planting seeds, water them, chaining, harvesting, scoring points. Remember, the stars give you double points, but it's a super fun game, and that's garden dice. Who should buy this game? Fans of gardening. I think if the theme attracts to you, I think people like this. Now, if you're looking for a light dice game, it's not so much about the manipulation as it is doing the best with what you got. So that's a different kind of game here. I think family games will like this. People who don't mind a little luck in their game. I wouldn't say it's overly luck because there's still a lot going on you can do with your dice. But at the end of the day, you're rolling the dice and you're using those dice to do things. But that luck really should even out over a game. But people will look at a game like this and say there's luck involved. And there is. Otherwise, I think the game is cute. I like the artwork and the components are top-notch. I think it's going to attract people. It's a tile-laying game. It's a dice-rolling game. And I think that's going to attract a certain type of person. So this is going to be a little bit on the lighter fare, the family level. But I think this is going to attract a lot of people. And I'm afraid Garden Dice has been missed out. So I'm going to highly recommend this as a hidden gem. I should start doing that with some of these games, of putting out some hidden gems. I think this is going to be one of them. So, Garden Dice. Check this one out for sure. And if it doesn't sound like something you'd like, at least try it out. But if you have a family, this is almost an instant buy for me. Keeper, Garden Dice.